Okay, welcome to our team call. It's October 12th, and tonight's topic is ending the year strong. And I wanted to go over some of the announcements before, especially because we haven't had a call in a few weeks, given the trainings and things like that. For starters, the calendar for the team is obviously pinned in the team page. The upcoming groups are a typical 21-day group, and then we will do another sneak peek at the end of the month. That will roll into a new coach training at the beginning of next month for any new coaches added. And then we are also going to do a Core de Force sneak peek. Well, I shouldn't call it a sneak peek. We're going to do a Core de Force test group. So it's an exclusive test group for people that are trying out this program. And basically, if you haven't tried out the program yet, it is an MMX, or I guess MMA style kickboxing program. No equipment's needed. The workouts are 30 minutes a day, and it's a 30-day program. There is a FAQ that gives you the full details of the nutrition plan and the workouts. The nutrition plan is going to be really similar to 21 Day Fix or Country Heat, but there are certain days where you are provided more food based on the intensity of the workouts. So one thing I wanted to encourage everyone to try out is on Beachbody On Demand on October 24th, there is a sneak peek of Core de Force that will be aired. If you didn't get to do the one that was last week, you might want to try this one out. I think it's a really great idea to do the workout, maybe take some video of yourself doing it, and then post it in your event that you have made to help kind of promote the event. And if you are interested in having some other material to use, I listened in on a call today at lunch from someone who's in the Core de Force actual test group. She's a coach, and she is 60 days in with the program. And she suggested if you can, you can't for some reason do the Core de Force sneak peek and somehow publicize that, you could always try out MMX from P90X3 because that's also a kickboxing type workout. Post some moves of that, and just, kind of use your event that you create in Facebook as an ad basically for the upcoming group to get people excited. I know that, this is a program that has a male and female trainers that should appeal to both sexes. Also, the female trainer used this as her postpartum kind of bounce back program. So I think that's a really good selling point as well. And then it's very core focused. So I think that obviously appeals to the ladies as well. If you have done any of the new coach trainings or, the last academy that we did last week, I talked a lot about creating your own Facebook events so you can publicize in them. This would be the one I would really focus on if you're going to make events for all of the groups for next month. And, going live in there, maybe talking about what the challenge group will entail, what the program is like, read up on the FAQs, try out the program, post videos, post transformation photos. And you can find the transformation photos simply by Googling Googling Core de Force test group transformation photos. And that's a really easy way to give yourself some material to post, and people outside of that event can still see what you're posting in the event, and it generates some additional interest in there as well. And if you need wording for your event or anything like that, you can always go to my business page and kind of copy what I've done. I actually found somebody else's and copied it, so it's not like I, create this. It actually is info right from the FAQ, which certainly makes things easier. And then the prize for this month for Success Club is a webinar with a business entrepreneur, and that's been posted on the cover photo of the team page. You can take advantage of that if you hit Success Club 5. Also, keep in mind that this is the last month for all of the most popular challenge packs that are on sale. Next month, they will all go back up. Almost all of them are $160, with the exception, or will be next month, with the exception of the Beachbody On Demand and the 22-minute hardcore. Those will stay at $140, but you won't get the portion control containers with the On Demand, and you won't get the sandbag with the 22-minute hardcore. So if you have people that have been kind of on the fence, make sure you're reminding them this month is kind of the last month to jump in. You can still add to that end of year challenge group if you have people that are jumping in and you know that their program is longer, or you can add to the 21-day group that's coming up in just another 2 weeks or a week and a half. So that's it, I think, for announcements. I just wanted to give like a really basic game plan for ending the year strong. I think one thing that gets overlooked is I think September and October tend to be like slump months. I think November kind of tends to be the same. And some people start to kind of just fall out, lose motivation, and not focus on the business anymore. And really, these are the most critical months, in my opinion, with kind of laying the groundwork for how your 2017 is going to look. And this being health and fitness, everyone makes their New Year's resolutions, jumps in. You have really busy early months of the year, and then it kind of evens back out again. But in order to take advantage of those really busy months, I think consistency during this time is really key, and still focusing on yourself is really key. So I just wanted to give a couple of basics. They really are mostly the vital behaviors. There's nothing really new that I'm going to be saying, but I just wanted to kind of put it out there to say, I understand the slump. I understand being super crazy and overwhelmed right now, and maybe this taking a back seat, but I think there's a way just to do it efficiently and continue with your behaviors that help you grow your business, and not just let things go to the wayside. So a few of the points I wrote down, and I've just kind of done some different trainings and picked these points up from those trainings. But I just wanted to kind of compile them and give them to you, and, kind of just tell you what my thoughts are. The number one thing I think is commit to a program. At this time of year, it's easy to fall off, and it's easy to, kind of lose your motivation around working out because there are so many events and there are so many holiday activities and things like that. But if you can commit to a program and show someone, through your social media, and show someone through your outlets where you're kind of networking with other people, that this is an easy way to incorporate something into your life that isn't something that you neglect when life gets busy, that's super important. So if you can commit to a program, obviously, you always hear be a product of the product, but I think that always gives you something to post about on your social media, that always gives you the focus of your own health and fitness, and it allows you to show other people that this is something that you can keep up with despite life's craziness. Number two, and in with commit to a program, is Shakeology as well. That's just kind of a given. If you're asking your challengers that are joining your groups to commit to their health and fitness, you have to be doing the same thing, because no one is going to do usually more than what you do. So if you're setting that example, then what you'll see is that your challengers are doing the same thing. Number two is definitely commit to personal development. I think this time of year, more than any other, it's really necessary to make sure your mindset's in the right place. And I just listened to a training right before this call about self-confidence and about getting your mindset in the right place. And I can't tell you how many leadership groups I'm in right now where the focus is people feeling like they are in this negative mindset or in a place where they feel discouraged by the business. I think that's only natural this time of year because it is a slower time of year. And the one thing you kind of have to keep working on is yourself. And I know that's hard to do, but if you do it, I ultimately think that will, give you the most success. It will give you the most consistency. And, it helps you kind of focus on your brand. The training I was just in, or that I just listened to, really talked about how you should work on your inside much more than the outside. And I just made a live video on my Facebook about it. But it's what he said was the difference between those that are successful and unsuccessful is that the successful ones really believe in themselves on the inside. If you really want it, you'll seek it and you'll find the answer that you need, because the limitations that you might see are really all in your head. I think everyone in this team and everyone in this group that we have is really capable of anything. It's just a matter of doing the little bit of work that it takes to get there and believing in yourself. And I think if you believe in yourself, that shows really in your social media, it shows in how you run your challenge groups, and it shows in your results that you're getting from your program as well. So I think continuing to work on your inside is super important. And along with that, the third thing is, I think, setting goals and reverse engineering your way to those goals is super important. So here at the end of the year, some of us might not necessarily feel too incentivized to reach certain goals, but whether it be a rank advancement or whether it be an advancement on the leadership ladder, I know we're all here because we want to help others, but we also want to see some sort of financial gain. And I think that the way to really do that is to set some sort of goal for yourself and work towards that goal. And one of the easiest things you could do is when you log into your Coach Online office and you see where you are on the leadership ladder and where you need to go, it tells you right there what it means that it will show in your earnings. And, if you're looking to grow your business, that should always be kind of your next step. And Success Club should always be your next step because that's what's showing growth in your business. So if you have goals you're working on and you don't know how to get there, then reach out to your upline, reach out to your coach, or post it in the team page and let's work on it. I think when I say reverse engineer them, I really kind of mean break it down. Like if your goal is right now to get Shakeology paid for, well, the natural way to do that is to hit Success Club 5 and then continue to do that on a monthly basis. But you will see growth from there for the customers that stay with you. If your next goal from there is to earn, say, $250 a month, which I believe is the next step on the leadership ladder, then you most likely need to be hitting Success Club 10. And Beachbody luckily breaks it all down for you. It's not rocket science, but if you don't really know how to get to those certain goals, then that's where we really need to dig in and make sure we're giving you the action steps to get there. The fourth thing is I would just encourage everyone to stick with doing at least one free group a month and one paid group a month. I know the amount of groups we've been running lately is super overwhelming and it's hard to keep up with. And having the health vet thrown in there meant we had to have a place for other people, and then now we have to keep doing our 21-day groups. You don't have to feel like you have to need to participate in all of them, but try to make a commitment to at least running one free group a month or do it with the team. And then at least one paid group a month. And if you do that, then at least the customers that you have know that they can count on you to always have a place for them. And if you're running the free groups each month, your network will be growing and you will be adding new people who could potentially be challengers. And you guys, I run these free groups every month and I might add 40 people on a good month and maybe one of those turns into a customer. It's not like it's this super profitable thing. But I can always go back and look, like if I hit Success Club this month, generally each one of those people has started in a free group. So it's something that might not show reward immediately, but I think if you continue to track your results, you'll see that most of the people that you have that turn into your challengers or your coaches probably started in a free group with you. So I don't think that those things need to be discounted. And if you're not really quite figuring out how to invite to those properly, or how to get a really good response to them, then talk to me, talk to your upline coach, and let's get you those right behaviors. The easiest way I can say generally with a free group is creating the event and maxing out your amount of invites. Yes, it takes 20 to 30 minutes to do that, but it's a very valuable thing to do when you get 40 people maybe that want to join your group. So I think that is totally necessary to do, and that's just a really good baseline minimal thing that you can do to increase your business and to make sure you're staying consistent. I'm going out of order here, so I think this is the fifth thing. The fifth thing that I wanted to say is show up for trainings and show up for the Super Saturday that's coming up if you have one. And I didn't mention the date because really the date is dependent on where you live. Here in Charlotte, the next Super Saturday, I believe, is the 29th. And if you've never been to one of those, what that is really is just a local gathering of coaches. If you're in Columbia and there is no Super Saturday, you could certainly come up to Charlotte's. And you generally get a panel of, some of the more experienced coaches. Beachbody actually sends some videos and specific things to focus on. My guess is that this one, Core de Force, will be a big talking point, and they will go through a lot of information about that. And you also get some really great takeaways for your business and for your personal self. And they also give prizes. That's always nice too. I never win them, but other people do. And people I've taken with me have certainly won them. But I think if you can stay plugged in to the National Wake Up Calls, if you could stay plugged in to your team trainings, maybe even the upline team trainings, you will constantly be learning and it will give you new ways to kind of grow your business. This team is a really young team, and I just think that I constantly am trying to attend these things, and I try to share back what I can, but maybe what I get out of it isn't necessarily what you would get out of it. And you don't have to run your business the exact way I do. I just give you the formula that's worked for me. So attending these trainings, I think, is a real benefit. You have a lot of free access to trainings. Even if you can't make some of the team calls, there's usually a playback. I think Team Fit and Fierce has its own YouTube channel. Team Courage has its own YouTube channel. other top coaches have their own YouTube channels, and you can always learn more about whatever it is you're interested in that way. And that's certainly something I've done. I just basically pick a new video during each workout that I do, and that's kind of a way I play catch up. Or that's when I listen to the National Wake Up Call. There's a podcast app that you can actually get, or you can call a playback line and listen to that. And those are just good ways to stay plugged in. And this week's call actually was all about recommitting to the business, so it kind of falls in line with what I'm talking about now. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was just committing to some daily business hours. And I don't mean, putting a ton of time into this business. I think we all have super busy schedules and kids and husbands and wives and, it's life. And I think this is something that most of us are doing on a part-time basis or something. And if that's the case, then you just, efficiency is key. But I think if you can at least pick maybe a daily power hour tracker that you're using out of the files of our group, or set some minimum guidelines for yourself. Like, I just have minimum guidelines: add 5 new friends a day, start 5 new conversations a day, and invite at least 3 to 5 people a day. And I try to stick with those minimum guidelines. And there are certainly days where I go above and beyond that. But if I get that little bit done, I can knock it out in about 20 minutes or so, and I'll feel like I've gotten what I needed to get done. Accomplished, and any extra time beyond that is just kind of bonus time. But if you can consistently do that and consistently start conversations, hitting Success Club or getting to your next goal really should be no problem. I know it's a struggle, and I know it takes work, but if you constantly have kind of this like bench of people who you're kind of working with, talking to, who maybe have interest in a program, it's easier to then hit whatever your goals are for the following month. You can't just rely on that, 3 people who have given you a verbal commitment, because somebody's likely not going to fall through, or likely not going to follow through. So those continuous conversations are necessary, and growing your network really is necessary, but it doesn't have to be exorbitant. If 2 conversations and 2 new friends a day and 2 invites a day is all you can do, and it's on a 15-minute break, then just that's all you can do, I think in the morning I generally try to add a few new friends right away. Then I wait until a little later in the day to check in with a few people, and then a little later in the day I'll invite a few people. And I just kind of have to fit it in between my work, so I totally understand. But I always just try to make sure that those minimum goals that I've set for myself are happening, so I can know that I will be able to reach my goals on a monthly basis. And I've set, for myself, Success Club 10, because I want to get those paid leads from Beachbody to help maximize income. And I think that's a really, good baseline goal to set if anyone else is looking to do that. But those are kind of just the points I wanted to give. I know that this time of year can be a struggle, and I know that, when people get overwhelmed in this business, it's the first thing they can usually drop fairly easily. And I think the shame in that really is that most of us are so new, we haven't even really seen the full potential yet. And it's much harder to restart completely than it is to maybe just tone down the amount that you're doing on a monthly basis. I think being consistent and showing up every day for your challengers and your coaches is super important. It doesn't mean you have to bend over backwards for them or donate all your time to them. You have to set your own boundaries and create your own business hours, but try to fit it in when you can. But I think that's one of those tasks that you have to just keep doing through this time of year. And if those people aren't necessarily ready to join you now because they see this time of year is really crazy too, they should be the first people that you're talking to about starting with you in the new year. And what we usually do is just advertise for a free group in December that will be like a healthy new year type group. And that's a good way to kick off the year. And it just restarts, the clock. But that's probably going to be the biggest group that we'll have, and where you'll see the most amount of contacts you can potentially make. So that's why I say don't fall off in these few critical months, because people need to see that you're showing up, and they need to know that you can hold them accountable to show up too, because that's most people's issue. So I'm going to stop recording now. Thanks for those of you that came. And if you have questions, certainly, just comment below the video after I post it, and I'm happy to answer them.